this morning on The Big Story, in a surprising move, the federal and state governments have hit the pause button on granting autonomy to local governments for a period of 3 months, citing concerns over salary payments and operational stability. But where does this mean for the future of grassroots development, democracy, and of course, citizen participation? Will this suspension stifle the growth of local governance, or is it a necessary step to ensure stability? Well, welcome to the Big Story on Quest today. Like I said, this is a simulcast production of Quest TV and Quest 106.1 FM. My name is Kingsley Wachiku, and of course with me is Maria Goreti Nzawumwa. Very good morning, Maria, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So now the local governance is the backbone of any thriving democracy, and autonomy is essential for effective service delivery and of course citizen participation. While concerns about salary payments and operational stability are valid, they must be addressed through constructive dialogue and innovative solutions, not by sacrificing autonomy. Well, join us today on The Big Story as we delve into the complexity of government autonomy, exploring the reasons behind the suspension, its implication, and what it means for the people of Nigeria.
However, you know that this suspension means that all local governments are going to wait till October before they'll start receiving or earning any money accrued or due to them.
Exactly.
Now, what does this mean for the local governments? There's going to be a whole lot of challenges.
Very
We're going to be looking at that and dissect it, and hope that our guests will do justice to that. It's quite alarming. I mean,
seriously.
The July 11 verdict came with a whole lot of happiness. And there was happiness all over the local governments. People had expectations, expecting what would be the outcome. They're waiting for local governments to actually take the heat. And all of a sudden, boom, there's the suspension.
All right. Joining us on the show this morning is the former Warri South local government chairman, talking about no other than Honorable Micheal Tidi. Well, Honorable Micheal is joining us virtually, so we'll just try as much as possible to make sure that we connect back to him so that he can actually, do justice to this particular discuss this morning. All right. Good morning, Honorable. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good morning.
Good morning to you and welcome. Thank you for joining us on The Big Story.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good to have you both there to join you guys.
All right.
How is Asaba today?
Very well, very well, very well. Okay, so I'm going to begin with how you actually felt when you had this update from the federal government. In fact, they had an agreement with the state governors to actually put a pause on the implementation of the Supreme Court verdict on local government autonomy. Let's get your first-hand reaction towards that.
Okay, so thank you. So your question, what was my reaction? Okay, my reaction when I heard about the 3 months moratorium placed on the local government autonomy. Well, that didn't come to me as a surprise because as soon as that judgment, was delivered, 11th of July, 2024, some of us with background in law and some of us who were active players, in the local government system, we knew that there were some, in fact, there were some areas, some gray areas that needed, to be attended to before, we could enforce or implement, the pronouncement of the APS court. So what this simply means is this: there is 3 months window for the states, as well as the federal government, to look at the books, all with a view to having smooth operation of this particular judgment, this landmark judgment of the Supreme Court. So I don't think there's cause for worry. Okay. This has not, of course, lay aside or put aside the judgment, which, of course, the people at the grassroots, good-spirited individuals in the country, all received with excitement. So there's no cause for alarm, my brother.
So they've actually, the governors and, of course, with the federal government, they actually, stated some reasons for this suspension. And the reasons were they cited concerns of salary payments and, of course, operational stability. Are these concerns justified? Do you think so?
Yeah, they are very justified. They are very justified because don't forget, there is a Supreme Court judgment of 2002, which, of course, gave the payment, which transferred the payment of primary school teachers, to the state government. It's just few states that has, implemented that judgment till date.
Okay.
Do you get? So let me speak for Delta, where I proudly hail from. We don't really have problem. I believe we've been practicing autonomy all this while. Take it, believe it or not. I'm saying this with the benefit of, as an insider, someone who has, of course, the privilege to hold or to serve my people at this level, local government chairman. The payment of primary school teachers, is first line charge. Let me start with that. So what the governors I served under, in fact, let me use His Excellency Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa as an example. A fine administrator, the template he laid for us, which this current administration has led by our governor, our leader, Right Honorable Sheriff Oboro is doing upon, is this. Before anything is done, before any expenditure is made, we must take care of primary school teachers' salaries. So we find out that sometimes when there are shortfall in the allocation, the state government intervene. They always try to help us first to pay primary school teachers. So I've checked with some of my colleagues, my former colleagues from neighboring states, other states, and I found out that they find it difficult to pay their teachers. So if they do not have the kind of template that we have in Delta State, as laid down by the immediate past governor of the state, which is currently being operated or implemented by this current administration, governor. By the current administration, it's going to be very difficult for them, to make those payments. So the state needs to sit down, of course, with the local government. Okay, how do we do this? Now, these payments, they all need to now, of course, go to the local government. There's now autonomy, X and Y payment that we were intervening, before. We can no longer intervene. These are your responsibilities. Please show that the responsibilities. Don't forget, there were some governors who came out. I think my governor also said it's one of his outings, that he is relieved because it's a big burden off his neck that there's now autonomy being granted to the respective local government. You get, because oftentimes they intervene, they help us to manage our resources, the fund that comes in, they of course help us often the time, to clear our backlogs. So these reasons for the moratorium is very, very valid, and I don't think anybody, should worry about it. Let's just give them benefit of the doubt. 3 months is just October, they will start the full implementation. Yes, they just need to put things in proper shape for smooth operation of this autonomy.
All right.
Okay.
I have a question. You said Delta State has been enjoying the autonomy of a local government from the governments we have in place. So I want to ask, is Delta State going to be part of this suspension for 3 months that the state governors are asking for? And this moratorium, how is it going to affect the financial autonomy of the local governments now, owing to the fact that ordinarily they would have just continued the good work that they have been doing, but now the financial autonomy, is Delta State part of it? And if they are part of it, how would this moratorium affect the financial autonomy of the local governments?
Okay, thank you. I will not be in a position to know if the Delta State is going to, of course, go ahead with this 3 months moratorium. I'm not in a better position to speak on that. You can clear from the states, you know. But
we've not really gotten any
know,
refuting from that as well.
What is it?
We've not gotten anyone refuting the fact that Delta State will not be part of the suspension for the 3 months for salaries from the local governments.
Oh, okay, yeah, but like I said, without holding brief for the state government, I can say this. I can say this, something I can defend anywhere, that the Delta State government, they mean well for the local government. I can beat my chest anywhere. Because in several grounds, several occasions, they've asked us, you know, to support the local government. And don't forget the people, the present governor of the state, you know, is a grassroots-oriented politician. So it's pro-people. Someone who has held the position of councillor, someone who has held the position of House member, then of course, electing him twice to be their speaker. He has definitely the pain of the people at heart. So when he came on board, it was very easy for him, to take a cue from what his predecessor, laid on ground. And since then, they've had, smooth operation, as it concerns releases of local government funds. So for instance, my local government, where I was privileged to serve, oftentimes, it tend to comment. It came for one of our projects, our program. I think you folks saw it came to commission the cottage hospital. And what did they say? It spoke about local government autonomy issue. Then the Supreme Court July 11 judgment had not been formed. He said he's in support of local government, the call for local government autonomy. So with that, I can say, that he is very comfortable with local government autonomy, but whether he's going to go ahead with the moratorium, is something I do not know. But don't forget, the judgment said, we must look at the judgment first. Yeah. The judgment said that the money should be paid directly. To the local government account. So this moratorium is simply this. We do not pay. Let's stay that section of the judgment. The money should not be paid into local government accounts, within 3 months. Give us 3 months grace for us to dot our I's and cross our T's as it concerns the smooth operation of this pronouncement of the Supreme Court. So definitely, I think with this, if we look at that judgment, stricto sensu, which means the state government, as led by Right Honorable Sherry, definitely go, with this moratorium, because it's an agreement. It was a parley, and of course, a consensus was reached between the federal government and state government that giving the 3 grace period, that section of the judgment, which to the effect that the local government fund be paid into respective local government to be kept at abeyance pending when this.
Just hold on. I want to confirm something from you. Yes, the judgment has been given.
Yes,
and we have 3 arms of the government, talking about the legislative, executive, and the judiciary. Of course, they all work independently, and each of them are designed to provide checks and balances to ensure that single branch becomes, none of them becomes powerful than the other. Now, the judiciary has given a verdict and an order. In the situation whereby the executive branch extends an order that is issued by probably this judicial branch, like such of the case of the extension of this financial autonomy for 3 months, how does this interaction typically work with the working side by side with the executive arm of government?
Okay, the onus presently is on the legislation. Since this reports came out, we've not had any, we've not had any pronouncement, we've not had any contribution on the part of members of the legislation. Perhaps, they are also in support, or they are in sync with the executive as far as this moratorium is concerned. Remember, the federal government being the one that took the states to court. They were doing this for the people, for Nigerians. So it was not an adversarial suit of a sort. It was a developmental driven suit. So when that judgment was given, it was victory for Nigerians, for the locals.
Okay.
So you must look at the long run effect. Now we've gotten the judgment. It's not enough to get the judgment because it's just theoretical. How do you practicalize it? So the steps to practicalizing it are what's led, to this moratorium. Because we must look at the operational viability. The payment of salaries, especially the primary school teachers, the health workers. These are key. These are key components of the local government system. So you just need to put all this in. I'm not saying governor, no serious-minded governor will sit down and watch the health workers being owed salaries and watch the primary school teachers being owed salaries. So that was why, what's it called? They took advantage of the section 162, which granted joint allocation, committee, to manage, of course, help the local government chairman manage their fund. Managing the fund is simply this.
Are you saying that the local governments cannot manage their funds without the help of the state governments?
No. It's a constitutional issue. That's not what I'm saying. That's why we said victory for Nigerians. The autonomy has been given. So we can't wait even for the implementation of that judgment for us to test, the capacity of respective council chairmen. But I can tell you, the chairmen, that just came on board, our successors, I can tell you good numbers of them are fine gentlemen, administrators in their own right. Of course, they can manage their resources. I'm speaking for my state. But other states, I cannot speak for them because I do not know much about the current chairman. Yes, I can speak for some of them who were close to us because I was once executive members of Algon. So I can speak, of course, for some of them. But good number of them, they've left office just like myself. But for my state in specific, I can tell you that the new crop of chairmen that we have, don't forget some of them are doing their second term. They served with us while we were there. Then some of them that are there today, some of them were commissioners. They've had various positions, but they've been tested. I can speak to that credibility, to that competence in managing their fund. What I was just saying initially was this. Jack was a constitutional matter. Section 162, provided for Jack. So what do we do at Jack? The governor, don't forget, he took an oath, to look at the welfare of the people, to provide security for the people. So what he kept saying is, Chairman, I am advising you people, let's make sure this and this and this are taken care of.
All right, Honorable Michael, not to cut you short, Honorable Michael. There is a need for us to actually go on a quick break right now. When we come back, of course, the discussion continues. Okay. Please stay with us.
Quest 106.1 FM and Quest Television is your gateway to success for adverts placement, news and events coverage from Ugbolu, Asaba and beyond. Reach out to us today. Let's be your partner in growth. Call our marketing lines every day on 0913-865-9453. I'll take that again, 0913-865-9453.
Quest 106.1 FM, beyond expectations.
Governor area of Delta State, Honorable Micheal Tidi, has commended the immediate past governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, and his successor, Sheriff Warri, for not withholding funds due to local governments in the state. In an exclusive chat with Quest News, he said because of this action by the governors, local governments have funds to execute projects for the councils. According to him, one of such projects is the Warri South Local Government Cottage Hospital commissioned last week.
The truth of the matter is local governments in Delta states are unlike other local governments in the country. Starting from when we came on board, when His Excellency Senator Dr. Ifeanyi was the governor, and down to our present governor. I can tell you, as of course ESCO member of Algon, and the treasurer of Algon, I can tell you without mincing words that all that is due to local government has been given and is still being given to the local government. So we never starve of fund like we hear in other states. The governor, then Governor Okowa, and now present Governor Sheriff has never for one day differed with local government fund. So we get our fund as and when due. And of course, we plan, we develop our own project, we plan our own project, we execute our own project. In Warri South, to be precise, I have a team that came prepared for this job. They never saw the job as job for the boys. They brought in their talents, their intellect to a task. And of course, at our ESCO meetings, we bettered this idea that there was need. There was need for us, to have a state-of-the-art hospital and hybrid of
Tidi. I'm sure you heard him. This was during his tenure as the Warri South Local Government Chairman, with the commissioning of a state-of-the-art hospital right there. And the big question is, he actually, achieved that feat when there was no local government autonomy. So the big question is, so what is stopping other local government chairmen across the country from, pulling off some of these, infrastructure projects down to the grassroots?
You won't forget that he did say that the local governments in Delta State have a good pally with the state government. And the state governor, who is a friendly governor to the people, have always released funds that belong to the the local government for them to actually carry out their own activities. So, but I feel that there are issues with other states, or there are still some pertinent issues, because if not, why would the Attorney General want to take the case to the Supreme Court for them to have financial autonomy? But then something keeps coming to my mind. These issues, the concerns raised about the salary payment and the viability of the activities of the state governors. I'm just trying to find out, after these 3 months, are we going to still expect an extension? Or are there processes put in place to checkmate these salaries for the local governments to start effectively on their own?
All right, many questions to be answered, and of course we'll make sure that we get through to our guest, Honorable Micheal Tidi, to do justice to all of the questions that needs to be answered. Starting with, come on, are there other, alternative solutions that could address this current suspension?
Salary payments and operational viability.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to get all of that, and we hope we get Honorable Micheal Tidi back virtually to actually, take us through these questions. All right, Honorable Micheal, you're welcome. You're welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm sure you actually watched the video clip that we just played. That was when you were the Warri South Local Government Chairman. So now let's talk about your antecedents. You actually pulled that off when there was nothing like local government autonomy. So how was it possible for you? And what was it that you did differently that other local government chairmen couldn't do to make sure that democracy gets to the grassroots even without autonomy?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's two things. First, the cooperation, the support of the governors I served under. Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, the immediate past governor of the state, the present governor, His Excellency Right Honorable Sheriff Oborowori. At no time did they differ with the council form, to the best of my knowledge. For the 6 years I was privileged to serve my people, at no time did they differ with the form. But instead, they had to even augment payment of local government staff salaries, as well as other sundry issues. I'm talking about my first term. The governor was so fantastic. He gave support to us. Backlogs were cleared, and then salary backlogs. So the support were there. They didn't pick out our form. The second component of our success story is simply sheer determination and, of course, vision. If you're coming to office, what I kept telling young people especially, you must know that you must ask yourself, are you ready to serve the people? Okay. To us, it's all about service. So while we are coming in, we already had an advice. We already had what we wanted to do for our people. We didn't stop there. We did need assessment. Good numbers of our projects were need-based. It's not enough to just cite a white, what we call a white elephant project. You had to go down to the people you are serving. What exactly did you need? So the cottage hospital, which you just brought on board, on here not quite long, it was as a result of, what the input we got from our people. That section, yes, that section of Warri, they were cut out, of medical coverage. So if we are talking about universal health coverage, the local government is in a better position to provide this coverage. Hence, we cited, of course, the project there. Before we did that, we came to the ESCO of Warri South, as led by myself. Okay? Of course, we deliberated on it, pros and cons of it. And of course, the cons overwhelmed, the pros overwhelmed the cons. Hence, the project you're saying there. So it's all about the support we got from the governor, as well as shared determination, and of course, vision.
Okay.
And participatory governance at the grassroots level. Yeah.
All right. So you've talked about the governor being friendly. That's a friendly governor to his subordinate. That's an edge for the governor. So what about other governors that are not actually friendly? So what message are we actually sending across? Are we saying that so if you don't have a friendly governor, you can't be able to pull off infrastructural projects to your local government? And secondly, the concerns they actually raised towards the suspension of the autonomy, do you think there are other alternative, measures that could have been put in place aside removing autonomy?
Yeah, thank you. So talking about other states, this is beyond being friendly. Being a friendly governor. It's you upholding, the Constitution, upholding the law. Local government, as we all know, is a quasi-tier of government. Because I'm using that word because there are some discrepancies in the Constitution as it concerns local government as a tier of government. I believe this Constitutional Review Committee, as headed by the current Deputy Senate President, would do, justice to that. We are already putting our hearts together. Some of us young lawyers, we are putting our hearts together to send our own input to the Constitutional Amendment Committee, because there is need to make to properly define the position of local government, in our Constitution. That said, the governor, being the law one who subscribed, to uphold, the laws, ought to give what is due. I'm talking about the governors now, what is due to the local government to them. So I'm still at a loss when I hear stories of how some other state governors, PFAS with local government funds, and of course how they annex local government councils as a department, in government house as it were. Although all these are in the realm of rumor, because I don't have any evidence, to substantiate those claims. So let me just consider it in the rumor. Then we must also look at another component of this July 11th judgment. Aside the direct payment of council fund to council, the respective local government accounts, the court also said, and that's a declarative judgment, that any council that refuses to conduct election, any council that does not have a democratically elected chairman, such state should not, be recipient of this allocation. So if you listen critically, to the reports that came out from the Council of State meeting I heard yesterday at the Villa, you will find that one of the explanations that was given also was to the effect that this 3 months moratorium is to avail other states who are here to democratically elected chairmen from, is to avail them ample opportunity to conduct their respective election. That's why in my first opening statement, I said that the federal government approach, why that case was lying in Supreme Court, was not adversarial. It was for the people of the state. And I must commend the learned Silk, Latif Fagbemi, SAN, for doing a fantastic job for pursuing that case, to fruition. But it's really victory for the people. Don't forget, he's the law, officer of the nation. So he owed that office, and he did what he did for the people of Nigeria. So it was not because he wanted to settle his score. It wasn't a political score with governors, but rather to help the people at the grassroots, for development to trickle down to the grassroots. So this 3-month grace period also, to avail states like Rivers, and of course Bauchi, and other states who are still, even Anambra, they still have a transition committee, So there is need for them to conduct the election. Okay. Sorry. Now, you said something?
From what you're saying, that the federal government's move and the state government's move is actually a right step in the right direction. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Micheal was asking earlier that what are the processes, or rather, will you rather give us some processes that you feel that the federal government and the state government can take in checkmating this payment of salaries and operational viability, such that after the 3 months, we'll not have to extend more, that the local government autonomy will now be a full-fledged of its own? What are the processes put in place that can be put in place to checkmate these salaries and operational viability?
Okay, that has been put in place, or
that can be put in place. I'm asking for your own.
That can be put in place.
Yes.
Okay, my own view. Okay, it's simple. Don't forget, what's it called? The state House of Assembly, is there. They are the watchdog of the local government. So we have House Committee on local government. We have House Committee on public account. But let me talk about the House Committee on local government. So the Constitution also empowers them, to empowers the state houses of assembly to oversee the functions of the local government. So it's simple. Now, federal government, now that there is this consensus within the federal and state, all they need to do is, Mr. Governor, ensure this and this, like for instance, the payment of these statutory charges. Okay, we'll call it statutory charges. Ensure that these statutory charges are taken care of. Then, of course, basic infrastructure that would, of course, lift the people from abject poverty. What's it called? Human capital development should be priority. So how do you ensure that? Yes, that advice, those advices to be given, but again, how do you follow it up? I think this is the question you're trying to ask. Don't forget, state government, they are subnationals. They are doing their thing. So the federal government cannot get a whip to say, okay, I want to see what you are doing. I want to see what you're doing. If you don't give the money out, if you don't release the money, this and this is going to happen to you. But it's very simple. They already have they know what they've already computed what are due to respective local government. So it's simple. If at the end of these 3 months, some local government yet to, of course, pay these statutory charges as well as brings, resemblance of economic development to their people, it's left for the State House of Assembly, especially the House Committee on Local Government, to invite those chairmen and, of course, question them.
So
can we see your
Michael,
books?
Yeah.
Can we know why, so amount that was given to you was not used, to defray this, and this? So the watchdog here is the House of Assembly. All the federal government can do, in essence, is to give these charges to the state government, ensure the charges are paid, ensure that you release this fund to the people. We are giving this moratorium, in trust. Please do not betray the trust. It's just advisory, but the major job lies with the state houses of assembly, which, amongst other things, their function is to oversee the activities of our respective council area. Yeah.
So let's even look at the morale and productivity of local government employees. Don't you think this current update is going to, affect their productivity? Talking about the local government employees, I mean, the Supreme Court just gave the verdict and everyone was happy, and now we're just hearing that the federal government and state governors have actually agreed for a 3-month suspension of that verdict. I mean, don't you think it's going to affect the morale and productivity of local government workers?
Well, I do not think so.
Why?
I do not think so.
Why?
The reason is simple. It's not just enough for us to be happy over that pronouncement. The question I kept asking some persons, who they are here to provide this answer. Did you for once have an idea of the exact figure, that are due to a local government or B local government? Do you have an idea?
Yes, go ahead.
Do you understand? So the question is begging for answer. So I don't think the morale, will be affected. It just left for the chairman, the respective chairman, to speak to the respective nugget chairman, and of course let them know that this is for our own good. 3 months, 3 months period. It's not that long. So let's wait. In October, we will see if the money that federal government is going to pay directly to the states, to the local government coffers, are going to be different from what was being paid by JAC, which is Joint Allocation Committee, that was being paid by JAC. We must look at all that. Don't forget, it's not enough for you to now, the former chairman, we cannot also say that, what we had we paid directly now is not higher than what we were receiving. Don't forget, with this subsidy removal, it means more money for the various tiers of government. That. So there's no possibility that what the federal government is going to send to them eventually from October, may or might be more than what we ourselves, which the council received under our watch then. That said, my brother, I want to take you to memory lane. In 2000, I hope I'm right, in 2001, you know, what's it called? Edo State government. Edo State government. They could not pay salaries. They could not pay salaries of their workers.
Okay.
What happened? Yes. The money came to them directly from FAC. The state government had to intervene to help pay those salaries. Because what comes from FAC is dependent on what your local government contributes. It has to do with your own, you have your own contributory role that you play. You understand? It's what you put in that you get at the end of the day. Do you understand? And that also brings me to another form of autonomy that you people are not even talking about, which is administrative autonomy. So that is also what citizens should be clamoring for. Because we must also understand our role as citizens. You should be clamoring for
that. Could be a subject
autonomy.
for another day. We have that already in the caller. That would be a subject for another day. We are actually looking at the suspension from the federal and state government. We still have that in the caller. It's coming gradually.
Oh, beautiful. But let me tell you, what constitutes receipt, or why I brought about administrative autonomy is simply what constitutes receipt of government, especially the LGA. In fact, all over, it's not just the federation account. We're also talking about, IGRs. So if there are no administrative autonomy, there are areas, in fact, the activities of the respective local government are hampered. So it will not seem as if they don't have the wherewithal, the expertise, they couldn't think outside the box to show the IGR profile. Okay. How can they do that when they are already, being stifled by different encumbrances owing to lack of administrative autonomy? Like you said, it's in the cooler, that's for people another day. So, back to the fact now. Back to the fact. To me, I'm yet to, in fact, I can't wait for that fact to come directly.
All right, Honorable Micheal. Yes, I want to say a very big thank you for your deep insight to this discussion. Well, unfortunately, time is no longer friendly with us. Of course, we need to actually, go on a quick break and, of course, let you go at this moment. Meanwhile, I want to say a very big thank you for your insight on the topic this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, pleasure always mine. Feel free, call at any time.
All right.